Teller to my left. Teller in the center. Teller to my right.
22.
55. The speed limit, 55.
Total number of voters in the hall is 55. I declare we have a quorum of voters present. We'll now proceed with the business of the meeting. I hereby call the Wareham Fire District Annual Meeting open. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence in recognition of the recent loss of a former Wareham Fire District mechanics, George Peck and David Ames. Thank you. Please be seated. The first order of business is for the clerk to read the posting of the warrant. Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Plymouth County, Wareham, Massachusetts. Warrant of the Wareham Fire District. To the constables of the town of Wareham, greetings. In the name of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, you are hereby directed to notify and warn the legal voters of Wareham Fire District, Wareham, Massachusetts, qualified to vote in Wareham Fire District affairs, to meet in the Wareham High School Auditorium, Viking Drive, Wareham, Massachusetts, on Monday evening, April 13th, 2015, at 7:00 p.m., and to continue said meeting by adjourning until 10 a.m. Saturday, April 18th, 2015, for the election of officers to the Wareham Fire District, 2550 Cranberry Highway, Wareham, Massachusetts, to act on the following articles. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wareham Fire District Annual Meeting 2015. At this time, I'd like to ask George Barrett to come forward.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming out tonight. Special thanks to WCTV and their crew for providing us with audio and video this evening. For those regulars at the Wareham Fire District meeting, you probably noticed in the past few years things have blown by fairly quickly. There's explanations in your warrant for all the articles, and we try to make them informative. But if you do have any questions, please feel free to stand up. I know they fly by recently, and we don't want anybody not to be heard. If there's anything we can't help you with this evening, just leave us your contact information, and we'll do the best we can to get back to you with the answers you want. Thank you. And I believe I will turn the mic over now to Ted Hatch.
Thank you, George. Good evening, everyone. To all my fellow elected and appointed staff of the Wareham Fire District and the community of which I've had the privilege to serve, it is with mixed emotions that I am choosing not to run for re-election this season. Now it is time for me to hand the torch to someone that can continue serving you in the manner of which your current officials are so doing. Serving the district since 1996, we have accomplished many goals, some of which include a new well, protecting our well fields through increased land holdings, expansion of the supply lines through the majority of the district boundaries, placed an additional water tower in service to ensure a more balanced system, development of another well to be operational in the very near future, and design and planning of a much-needed treatment facility, all which will ensure the residents of the district will have the most valuable resource of water for decades to come. I would like to say a special thank you to Mr. J. Tamagini, who has served with me for almost my entire time, for the efforts and caring that he continues to give to the district. In closing, rest assured that the Wareham Fire District Water and Fire Departments are both committed to providing the best services to its residents at the most reasonable cost available. Thank you again for allowing me to serve you over these number of years.
Article 1.
I move that the clerk cast one vote for Peter Balzerini to serve as moderator.
Second.
I have a second. There's a motion before the body and a second to elect Peter Balzerini as moderator for the Wareham Fire District 2015 Annual District Meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The article passes by a unanimous vote. Mr. Balzerini, would you please come forward? Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially perform the duties to which you have been elected in accordance with the bylaws of the Wareham Fire District and the general laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. Welcome, everybody, to the annual district meeting. Before we start with the Article 2, just a couple of things, the reminders and little information for those of you who may be new to the meeting. The meeting is conducted using the laws of the Commonwealth, the bylaws of the district, Robert's Rules of Order, tradition, and any rulings that have to come forth from the position of the moderator. You must be seated to be counted. Anyone who wishes to speak needs to line up at the microphones to be recognized. If you are unable to get up and get to the microphone, let one of the tellers know so that the microphone can be brought to you, so everyone has a chance to participate if they so desire. We will ask for a voice vote on motions. If it's difficult to determine the outcome, then a hand count would be the next step to figure, to find out what the actual count was. Motions that require a 2/3 vote, unless it becomes abundantly clear without a without a unanimous decision, then we will again ask for a hand count in those cases. During the course of the meeting, if anyone wishes to amend any of the articles, it can be done. However, we'll only allow one amendment at any given time. And of course, we expect all discussions and all comments to be relevant to the articles and, in a civil manner so that everyone leaves happy. So, with that being said, Article 2.
Mr. Moderator, I have a question.
Yes.
Want to know if it'd be all right for Acting Superintendent Cunningham to come up on the stage in case there's any questions?
Yes, as per tradition at our meetings, any official of the Water District or Fire District who is not a resident or voter can receive permission from the moderator to be on the stage to facilitate the answering of questions. So I'll make that ruling absolutely yes.
Okay. Also, we have Kristen Ryan from Kleinfelder, our engineering firm. If there's any questions, she's down in the front row there.
Yes, if that's necessary to
Thank you.
explain, okay?
Got a chair here for you, Andy. You get in the hot seat.
Okay. All right, if there are no further issues to be brought forth, Article 2.
I move that the district vote to accept the reports of the Water Commissioners, Board of Engineers, Prudential Committee, and all other officers and committees, and accept the same as printed in the annual report of the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2014, and that any and all reports be accepted as submitted at this meeting.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on Article 2? Seeing no one rise, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor of Article 2, as read and as it appears on the board, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. It's unanimous. Article 3.
I move the district vote to rescind $18,860 in unissued bond authorizations as followed. Article 6, Special District Meeting 0623 of 09 to improve water tank, $18,860.
Second.
Article 2 has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Article 3.
Seeing no one at the microphones, we will call for a vote. All those in favor of Article 3, as it appears on the screen, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. It's unanimous. Article 4.
I move the district vote to transfer from available funds known as water surplus the sum of $50,000 to fund the Water Department contractual liabilities account.
Second.
Article 4, the motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on Article 4? Seeing no one rise, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of Article 4, as written on the screen, signify by saying yes. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. Unanimous. Article 5.
I move the district vote to transfer from available funds known as water surplus the sum of $40,000 to purchase and equip a replacement for the existing Water Department general transportation vehicle.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on Article 5? Yes. Okay. Could we reread the article, please?
Sure. Motion 5. I move the district vote to transfer from available funds known as water surplus the sum of $40,000 to purchase and equip a replacement for the existing Water Department general transportation vehicle.
Second.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded. Thank you. Any discussion now? Seeing no one rise, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor of Article 5, as it appears now on the screen, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. It's unanimous. And thank you. Article 6.
I move that the district vote to transfer from available funds known as free cash the sum of $60,000 to power and outfit the fire department's safe boat.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on Article 6? Please step to the mic and state your name, please.
Hi, my name is Tim Patrica. I understand that you got this boat a couple years ago. Is that correct?
Correct.
And where has it been stored?
To answer the question.
At Station 2, which is the West Wareham Fire Station.
Okay, I've been reading a lot in the paper about different departments getting toys, and to me this sounds like it's a toy that the police department wants. You already have boats, is that correct? A couple of them?
Correct.
And it seems like the harbor master has boats in Wareham Harbor and Onset Harbor, and I don't see the need for this boat. Can you give me a reason for it? And it almost seems like the fire department wants to be part of the Coast Guard.
To answer the question, anyone?
Yes, sir, I'd be glad to, Mr. Moderator, through you.
Yes.
First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm the fire chief here representing the Wareham Fire District. My name is Robert McDuffie.
Nice to meet you, Robert.
Yes, sir. And to my left, my immediate left, is Assistant Chief Patrick Haskell. He's
Nice
an
to meet you.
operations chief. And to the far left is Assistant Chief John Kelly.
Can I interrupt just for 1 minute?
Certainly.
I don't know any of you folks, and this is the first time I've been to this meeting, and I want to say that I appreciate everything that the water department does and the police department does. I know we haven't had any problems with the water in the past few years, which is good. And thank God I haven't needed the fire department, although you run by my house all the time, so I know you're doing your job, so you guys are doing a good job. I want to get that out of the way before you get mad at me.
No, I believe you actually deserve an explanation if you're not clear, because the one important factor that we like to be able to serve you the information that you deserve to clearly understand any article or anything within the realm of the budgets and things of that nature. So I have a short presentation, if I might be able to do so, Mr. Moderator,
Yeah, that's fine.
on this particular article, and I'll be as brief as possible.
Yes, okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I anticipated questions similar to that, so I'm glad you asked, because we did prepare ourselves this evening for that very question, because we've heard that before, as far as what are we, trying to get in the Coast Guard business. And it's important to understand that the fire department is responsible for the waters of the coastline, and that's part of our jurisdiction. As much as I'd like to pass it off to another agency, we're compelled to actually be responsible to respond whenever possible, whenever there's a need. So I'd like to draw your attention to the screen above me here, and we can kind of buzz through this. So the Wareham Fire Department actually has a Marine division, and it falls under tech rescue. We have rope rescue, we have trench rescue, and under the auspices of technical rescue, we would like to have this safe boat as an addition so that we can better serve you as the public and protect our firefighters so that they can, at the end of a tour, go home safely. And it really comes down all about the tools and maybe not the toys. Because I agree, in some cases it could be perceived as a nice toy to have. Well, with 54 miles of coastline in this community, it's essential that we protect each and every one of you as best we can, like I said. So I'd like to run through this. Go ahead, Skip. So our mission statement, and we're going to buzz right through this. I want, in the interest of time, go ahead. So why are we here? To appropriate funds. We had this boat. We have an estimate that the hull itself is in excess of $100,000, the value. So we were fortunate to receive this hull. We did not have the funding to power it. For the last over a year, we've been trying to find creative methods in order to get power for this particular vessel so that we didn't have to burden the taxpayer. Unfortunately, we were unsuccessful. We have been working through the Coast Guard at Woods Hole and out of Boston, and we have come up with nothing as far as trying to get the power that this particular vessel should have. There's nothing available for power, and we did delay a whole year, in excess of a year, and that's why we had this boat stored in the West Wareham Fire Station, better known as our Station 2. So our current work platforms, we have actually 2 boats. This is our largest boat. It's what we know as M1, Marine One. It's a 1978 Boston whaler, pretty straightforward there. So this hull has been around for a long time and has served us well and continues to do so. Unfortunately, if you're familiar with Buzzards Bay, once you leave the Wareham River, and I just want you to picture the Wareham, once you exceed the Wareham River into the Buzzards Bay area in November, when the winds are blowing, I don't want you to paint the picture of 4th of July and we're going to go out and have a picnic. I think that's where the misconception sometimes lies. But my staff has to be protected, and in this particular M1, it's inadequate for the amount of territory we have to cover. Our jurisdiction is basically from Tempest Knob out into the canal and out into the Codman Point area, which we would interface with the Onset Fire District coming out of Onset Harbor. So we have a lot of area to cover in a short amount of time, and then to make matters worse, you're going to add foul weather. I don't know if you've been out there, but I have, and it will humble any man. So the cons of our current boat. Once again, the firefighter is subjected to weather. It only fits 2 to 3 crew members. Outdated 2-stroke. So when the divers are working off this particular vessel, the M1, it's running at a higher idle, and when we're doing grid patterns, grid searches, it's actually idling at too high of an idle, so it is almost drowning the divers when they're hanging off the back of this boat, and they're hanging 3 and 4 abreast. So in an effort to control is very difficult. The top speed, If we have to go out into Buzzards Bay, out into the canal, we're going to need a little bit of speed, but that's not why. We need the power, so when it is rough out there, the firefighters can control the vessel. Launching is a matter of fact, especially when we get into the winter months. As long as there's open water, we're responsible to respond. Here again, we don't pull the boats like most people do in September and October and dry dock them. We're going to have to be ready to go. And until that harbor freezes, we're on the hook for that. The antiquated electronics. Once again, if it's foul out there, many of you have been out there when it fogs right in and you can't see a hand in front of you. I don't think I need to go any further on that. It's essential that we provide the firefighters with the adequate tools so that they can come home safe. Next slide, please. And this is our second vessel. This is M2, 1969. As you can see, once again, pretty straightforward. That's not going to cut it when you hit the Buzzards Bay. So types of emergencies that we're responsible for under the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This isn't something that we've dreamed up on our own. We are responsible to handle these type of incidents. Naturally, boat fires, boat accidents, missing persons, drowning, vessels in distress, environmental emergencies. And you'd be surprised at how many of those environmental emergencies that we're responsible for. Having to drag out boom, hard boom that we work in with our brothers and sisters in the neighboring communities in some of these areas to protect our areas that are so sensitive, like shellfish grants and things of that nature. Naturally, medicals. There's a lot of boats out there in the nice weather, and then we get into the commercial fishermen and the off months. And just there's a few areas I think I spoke on most of them. Next. So one thing we're involved with, and pretty proud of this, that we are one of the pioneers of this development. For many, many years, the Buzzards Bay area was very unorganized when it came to who's responding to what, because oftentimes we would get poor information as to where there was a vessel in distress. So we came together, all the local communities, Mattapoisett, Fairhaven, New Bedford, Falmouth, everybody, Bourne, Onset, etc., including the Coast Guard. And we've joined hands and created a task force. Now, I got to tell you, firefighters are pretty brave, but it's just not for everybody to be out there in the Buzzards Bay, and I want to emphasize that. So we try to identify the talents within our structure, and we try to provide them with the training they deserve, and once again the tools. So we're trying to handpick a new team, the best of the best. Should we be successful in your support this evening to pass this article, so that I can have a small nucleus of approximately 12 firefighters that are willing to respond 24/7 at a moment's notice for any boat that's in distress. So just to show you a little quick, this is the task force, and once again, we've actually gridded out the Buzzards Bay, so we get a good flavor of whose response area it is. We've zoned it out, so if it's in the Wareham proximity, it would be Wareham and maybe Marion, because Marion also is in there, and I neglected to identify my brothers and sisters in Marion. Next slide, please. The run stats. You know, this is the best kept secret, really, but since 2010 to current, we've had 32 waterway incidents. And when you take a look at the actual structure fires, it just kind of makes you, it wakes you up a little bit. It's about a third of the calls. And this is the vessel in question. Once again, I'm pretty excited that we were able to have this piece of equipment. It's my role as the manager to oversee safety and facilitate the training. And this piece of equipment, I wouldn't want to be coming here and asking you to purchase this brand new and $60,000 is a lot of money, and that's the question on the table. Will you support the Wareham Fire Department for $60,000? I like to think it's a great investment for the safety of the firefighters, for the safety of the victims that we're trying to save, or assist in trouble. I think that I stand before you in confidence that we will be able to provide the best service that you deserve here in the Wareham Fire District with this piece of equipment. Next slide.
Thank you, Chief McDuffie. Are there any more comments to be made concerning this article?
Well, Chief, you almost have me convinced. I'm going to vote for it. Is this going to be in the water most of the time in the good weather?
Mr.
Yes,
Moderator, may I?
yes, to answer the question.
Our intention is yes, sir.
And is the maintenance included in your budget? Because there is a lot of maintenance to having boats.
I'm glad you asked that, because I had some serious convincing to my peers, the Prudential Committee, who are my bosses that I have to answer to on a weekly basis, and then some. They were, it took a lot of education for all of us, and in this process, we've identified significantly, I had to make this presentation to them, and the soft cost is what they described it as. We are currently budgeted for the soft costs without any additional costs. We have not asked for any additional money exceeding the scope of the budget.
Probably one last question. To bring up something that happened last year, I think the town approved $70,000 for communication equipment for the police department. Is that correct?
I'm not in a position to respond to that because that would be the police department and not fire.
Oh, that's right. No, I'm sorry. It was the fire department. Didn't we okay $70,000 last year for communication equipment?
I believe you might be, the two things last year, we talked about, we had a technology article, we were looking to upgrade some of our technology.
Right.
And we're in the process of doing that as we speak.
Okay. The only reason I'm bringing that up is because this boat requires some electronics in it. And is it going to be a couple years before we get the electronics into this boat, like it is for this?
I'm glad you asked, because in this slide presentation, I'm going to jump to, towards the end, you're going to find a breakdown of what that $60,000 is going to do for all of us.
And you know which electronics you're going to need and where to get them, and will this be in the water this summer?
Okay, I'm going to answer one question at a time. As far as the electronics, the one thing good about my job is I surround myself with good quality people. And I've developed a team that I would put my money against. I personally, I don't know much about the technology, but I have the resources that do, and we have a technologies department and also the Marine Division, and we bring those two teams together, and that's how we achieve what we present here this evening. So the answer would be yes as far as the technology. I have members in the audience. I didn't want to call on them unless I absolutely had to, so if you had specific questions, I can't answer them. I'd be happy to answer more detailed questions after the meeting if you'd like. But it depends on how long the moderator will let me run on this particular article.
Do you assume you'll be in the water this coming summer?
It's all predicated on getting the motors and the technology. Our goal is to get it in as soon as possible.
Right.
So if, with your help, we're going to make it our mission to get it in service, and we'd like to be in service at, obviously the peak of the season, 4th of July. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that, but it'll be shortly thereafter if I have my way.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are there any more questions? Seeing no one else rise to the podium, we can vote on Article 6. All those in favor of Article 6 as written and shown on the board behind us signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. It's unanimous. Article 7.
I move that the district vote to transfer from available funds known as free cash a sum of $75,000 and a sum of $35,000 from available funds known as water surplus to fund the district's other post-employment benefits.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on Article 7? Seeing no one rise, we shall take a vote. All those in favor of Article 7 is read and as it appears on the board behind us, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. It's unanimous. Article 8.
I move that the district vote to transfer from available funds known as free cash a sum of $30,000 representing the district's share of an approved FY13 Assistance to Firefighters Grant administered by the Federal Emergency Management Agency to purchase radio equipment.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on Article 8? Seeing no one rise, we'll take a vote. All those in favor of Article 8 as read and as it appears on the board, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. It is unanimous. Article 9.
I move that the district vote to transfer from available funds known as free cash a sum of $43,964 representing the district's share of an anticipated grant award from the Federal Emergency Management Agency for the purchase of self-contained breathing apparatus.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on Article 9? Seeing no one rise, we shall vote. All those in favor of Article 9 as read and as it appears on the screen, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. It is unanimous. Article 10.
I move that the district vote to transfer from available funds known as free cash a sum of $52,000 and a sum of $22,000 from available funds known as water surplus for the purpose of correcting and funding the district's budgeted versus accrual payroll.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on Article 10? Seeing no one, we shall vote. All those in favor of Article 10 as read and as it appears on the screen, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. It is unanimous. Article 11.
I move that the district vote to amend the Wareham Fire District bylaws, Article 1, Section 1, fifth sentence, to delete the words, "The clerk and treasurer shall be elected for a term of 3 years," and to replace with the words, "The clerk and treasurer shall be appointed by the Prudential Committee for a term not to exceed 3 years."
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on Article 11? Seeing no one, we shall vote. This one requires a 2/3 vote of the body. All those in favor of Article 11 is read and as it appears on the screen, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.
No.
It is passed by a 2/3 vote. Article 12.
I move that the district vote to amend the Wareham Fire District bylaws, Article 1, Section 3, to delete the wording of that section in its entirety and insert in Section 3 the wording, "Any vacancy occurring in the Prudential Committee or the Board of Water Commissioners shall be filled by a vote of the majority of the Prudential Committee. If the vacancy is in the Prudential Committee, or a vote of the majority of the Prudential Committee," oh, out of text there, but sorry, "and the remaining Board of Water Commissioners acting together if the vacancy is in the Board of Water Commissioners, until a successor is elected at the next annual district election. In the event of a tie vote, the clerk or temporary clerk shall cast one vote to break the tie, or in the absence of a clerk, then the treasurer or temporary treasurer shall cast one vote to break a tie. A vacancy occurring in the appointed clerks, including temporary clerk, or appointed treasurers, including temporary treasurer position, shall be filled by a majority vote of the Prudential Committee for a term not to exceed 3 years."
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on Article 12? Seeing no one rise, we shall vote. This is also a bylaw change, so it requires a 2/3 vote. All those in favor of Article 12, as it appears on the screen and as it was read, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.
No.
It passes by a 2/3 majority. Article 13.
I move that the district vote to raise and appropriate $5,310,999.88 from taxation for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2015, for the following bottom line operating purposes: Prudential Committee, Mechanic, Fire Department, and Clerk Treasurer.
Motion has been made. Do I hear a second?
You want to read the categories on that?
Yeah, well, this is the budget for the Prudential Committee budget. If you'd be so kind as to open your booklet to follow along, what we're going to do is we're going to offer members of the audience an opportunity to hold any article, or any item rather, that they would like to have discussed in detail. We're going to do this by heading. So what I will do is read the heading, and if there's anything within that heading that someone would like to hold, please signify by yelling hold. We'll go back to that heading and find out which specific item is the item in question, or items, if that be the case. So, if everyone follows along, let us begin. The first heading is Prudential Committee, Committee Salaries. Next is Operating Expenses. Next is Clerk Treasurer Salaries and Wages. The next area is Clerk Treasurer Operating Expenses. The next area is Mechanics Division Salaries and Wages. Mechanics Division Operating Expenses. Mechanics Division Consumables. Fire Department Salaries and Wages. Fire Department Operating Expenses. Fire Department Consumables. Hearing no holds, is there any discussion relative to Article 13? Seeing no discussion, we shall vote on Article 13. All those in favor of Article 13 as read and as it appears on the screen behind me, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. It is unanimous. Article 14.
I move that the district vote to raise and appropriate for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2015, for the bottom line operating purposes for the Water Department, a total amount of $4,232,671.52, to appropriate $44,855.72 from water revenue, to transfer $632,640.80 from betterment receipts received by April 13th, 2015, to transfer $178,845 from water revenue surplus, and to transfer from the Prudential Committee budget an amount of $376,330, representing the 11% fire capability charge.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. This is for the budget for the Water Department, and we shall do the same procedure that we just did with the Prudential Committee's budget. We'll do it by section. If anyone has an issue with any of the items, please signify by yelling for a hold, and we'll go through this right now. Water Department, salaries and wages. Consumables. Purchases of services. Other charges and expenses. Insurance and benefits. Is there any discussion on any of the issues relative to the Water Department budget? Seeing no one standing, we will vote. All those in favor of Article 14 as read and as it appears on the screen, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. It is unanimous. Article 15.
I move the district vote to transfer from available funds known as free cash the sum of $100,000 to fund the stabilization fund.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on Article 15? Seeing no one rise, we shall vote on this. This is a transfer involving the stabilization account, so it requires a 2/3 vote. All those in favor of Article 15 as read and as it appears on the screen, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. It is unanimous. Article 16.
I move that the district vote to accept the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 148, Section 26H.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing no one rise, we shall vote on this. This is a transfer involving the stabilization account, so it requires a 2/3 vote. All those in favor of Article 15 as read and as it appears on the screen, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. It is unanimous. Article 17. I move that the district vote to accept the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 148, Section 26H.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing no one rise, we shall vote. All those in favor of Article 16 as read and as it appears on the screen, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. It is unanimous. Before we ask for a motion to adjourn, Mr. Tamagini would like to say a few words.
Just a couple of short words. Really going to miss Mr. Hatch, and I just got a little plaque here for him, and I'm just going to read it. In recognition and sincere appreciation of many years of distinguished service, the Commissioner, as Commissioner for the Wareham Water District, Ted Hatch. Ted, he's really done a fine job.
Again, thank you all for allowing me to serve you over the number of years. We appreciate it. Thank you again.
That concludes the articles. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn until the until the election on Saturday. Hang on. All right, to choose the following offices: 2 members of the Prudential Committee for 3 years and 1 Water Commissioner for 3 years. The above-mentioned offices are to be voted on one ballot. The polls will be open at the Wareham Fire District, 2550 Cranberry Highway, Wareham, Massachusetts, at 10 o'clock a.m. on Saturday, April 18th, 2015, and shall be closed at 4 o'clock p.m. You are hereby directed to serve this warrant by posting in 6 or more public places in the district, or who by direction of the Prudential Committee cause a copy of the warrant to be published in a newspaper published in the town, if any otherwise in a newspaper published in the county, in an issue or issues immediately preceding the date of the meeting. Hereof fail not, and make due return of the warrant with doings thereon to the district clerk at the time and place of said meeting, given into our hands at Wareham this 27th day of March in the year 2015. I have received a motion to adjourn. I've heard a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Okay, meeting adjourned until Saturday.
Thank you.